Welcome back. Thank you very much for clicking the link. As always, my name is Yaku. That's the Maya behind the camera, and we have a jewelry channel which helps the trade. We believe it helps the trade.
People are telling us it helps.
We make stuff and then we talk about it, and then hopefully it helps people. Today I've got a set of diamonds that came from different places. I've got one lab diamond, which is a rather big pear-shaped stone, and I've got two smaller ones. One was loose and the other one came out of a ring. So basically we're taking old jewelry and new jewelry, bringing it together and giving it a little home. And the home we're making for it today is going to be a pendant. We are using 18 karat white gold. I'm going to show you exactly what I'm using. I'm using no more. And there's always a little bit left over as well. So just to give you a gauge, if you ever wanted to approach a project like this, it will make it simpler if you want to know what to buy, which is why we put this segment into the videos. I've taken it and I've flattened it to a point where I'm on 0.8 of a millimeters thick. It just naturally squashes out to the height that I had there. I can't tell you exactly how much that was, but it was more than enough for the depth of the stones. The idea is to get the stone from the top to have absolutely nothing but the claws showing. So you want it to lie on top of the setting. You don't want it to have any parts of the setting sticking out. I need to mirror the shape of the pear shape. This is how I do it. I look at the diameter of the outside of the actual pear. So where the point is, there's a rounding. They're not straight, they've got a bit of a rounding, and that rounding I take and I find that diameter on a circular stencil. Then I shape my piece of plain metal that I've got perfectly round to that diameter, and then I bend it from the bottom to close it towards the top. So this little section over here I manipulate with a set of flat and half round pliers. And then from there onwards, you're typically too big and you start cutting from this side as much as what you do from that side, and you keep bringing it closer and closer and closer. I'm going to be using 3 claws. I'm building these settings before I put them together. Always start with a hard solder and work your way down to a medium, and if you have to, easy as well. But try and keep the solder as pure as possible. The round stones are the simplest things to do because we all have little round mandrels that we're using. So all we need to do, same principle. If I'm measuring the stone and the stone is 4.9 millimeters in diameter, I want to make the outside diameter of that setting 4.9. So where I have my solder mark on a round setting, on that solder mark is where I'm going to focus my little punch, so that when I put my wires on, it hides that soldering spot. So I'm starting off with the 4 points on the round settings, and then from there I'll put them on the top, so to make sure that they're nice and straight, and then from there I turn it and I do it over the entire setting from top to bottom. Now this just, when you're cutting something like that, you must be really sure that you're going absolutely straight, because when you're viewing it afterwards and the one wire is slightly skew, it effectively means that your symmetry is not going to be right. The way I do this is I look at the actual setting itself and I look at my blade, and as my blade comes down, it's easy to judge a 90-degree angle. You want to make sure that your blade stays perfectly symmetrical. Very lightly start cutting and then follow it through all the way to the top. Make sure that you turn it around and repeat the process. Even though we think sometimes that we do it absolutely perfect, it might still be slightly off because we are just human, aren't we? And because I've been using the same strip of metal that I've rolled out for all the settings, I can then start with my dividers and make exactly the same size gaps all around. So I'm prepping the metal, I'm drawing on top of it with a saw frame and with a divider to make sure that everything is where it should be when I'm cutting it out. Prepping the metal essentially. I'm doing it with all 3 the settings so that I can do all of this cut work and everything at once. The pear is the deepest stone that I have out of the bunch. The height of the setting underneath the pear, I'm going to follow through on the diamonds as well.
Could you try again?
Taking the divider now over all these settings, because they're all the same height, to make sure that I've got a uniform groove that I can cut out. So I want to split this little wall that I've created that they lie on into 3 little pieces, and then roughly 1/3 I'm cutting out the center section. So solid section where the stone lies on, one section underneath it that's open, and then a solid section at the bottom. Got the prongs on the 2 diamonds. I've got this one point where the point of the pear is going to be going in, and then the 2 prongs towards the end. I'm creating a little triangle. So I can take my pear shape, flatten the top slightly, and then solder a triangle, a solid triangle piece of metal that I've created. Remove the center section and add a claw over the top to reinforce it, and then cut the next center section out for the next claw add the claw to it, and then remove the last section, and then add the last section of the claw. Now, obviously there's different ways of doing this. You can just cut it straight in half and then put little spaces in, and that's perhaps another video. And I've got 3 claws on the top ones. I'm going to be adding a little O-ring on top of the pear shape, and in the gap of the O-ring I'm going to bring the last claw in. So I'm doing all of the claws, all the cut work on the top ones, but before I put my very last claw in, I insert it through this little part, bring it up to the setting, and then solder it at the top and the bottom. And that little O-ring that I've created is sort of hidden because it's swallowed in by the next setting. So it's very tight, very neat. And at the same time, maybe what I should also discuss is the thickness of the wire I've used. It was a 0.5mm wire thickness, and where I've got a 0.8mm prong, I've gone with a millimeter diameter, inside diameter for these little O-rings, and that gives me plenty of movement. The reason why I've done this particular pendant this particular way is because I needed to have movement, not only this direction, but obviously that direction as well. The very last thing I need to do is to make a little bail. I added a little bead at the back of the actual V. So at the back here, where you're not going to see it, behind the chain once you put it through, just to give it a little bit more of that structure. See a little bead there in the back?
Oh, it's cute.
This is the piece, guys. This is what we've done, and let us know what you think of it. 18 karat white gold, quite a pleasure to work with. I haven't done that for a while. Mostly we work in platinum, so 18 karat white gold is surprisingly nice every now and then to be working
Less
in
resistance.
Less resistance. It allows you a little bit more, like a little vacation. I've been sick. I've been off in South Africa, trapped in a hotel room because it wouldn't let me fly back. So I do apologize for the little bit of a wait. The feedback we're getting is just, I must say, it's one of the most special things that you get is people from everywhere around the world asking questions and giving suggestions. Our community is growing and we really appreciate all the support. Please don't hesitate, if you haven't subscribed yet, to subscribe. It costs you nothing. It builds the channel. And what are the other things again, Damia?
Oh yeah.
Like, subscribe.
Like, subscribe, hit that bell icon.
Hit the bell icon.
Do what you want really, guys, but
yeah, we're not going to tell you what to do, but it does help the channel. Thank you very much for watching till the end, and we will see you next Sunday. Cheers, Damia.
Oh, bye you guys.
Cheers.